Good afternoon, my village. It's your Coach Mo. It's 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock for some of you. I'm just sharing this out to my other page and tagging a few people. I hope you guys can join me live tonight. It looked like 4,949 of my followers are active right now. So that's almost all my followers. So hopefully you guys can join me tonight on this topic. And I'm giving my special announcement tonight. Thank you for joining. Make sure you guys hit like or say hi so that I can see you in the comment section. I'm trying not to make this one an emotional, long live, but it might be. I don't want this to be my first ugly cry live, but hopefully you guys can join me. And the topic today is going to be about faith, something that I struggled with for the last, say, 6 weeks. It's been a very, very hard journey. But I'm going to talk about that today. I was going to talk about Brian McKnight and his kids. That was the topic I was supposed to go on, but so many blessings have come today and I had to share it. So I definitely wanted to come live with you guys, and I changed the topic to faith, because without faith I wouldn't have been able to get all the blessings that God has, all the prayers he answered at one time today. And it's been such an amazing day. So I just wanted to share with you guys, and thank you for all the love you guys have been sending on my page, all the comments, things like that. I really appreciate it. So just to start, for those who don't know who I am Monique. I go by Coach Mo. I am a parenting and business coach. I help parents co-parent with success to be able to coexist in their child's life, as well as I work with entrepreneur parents to help them identify their ideal client to be able to create products, content, and services to gain income in their business. So now that we got that out of the way, the topic today is going to be on faith. So back in May, about the first week of May, I created what I call my prayer journal. I started praying every day. In the prayer journal, there's I think 4 topics. Yes, 4 different sections. So the first section is affirmation, where I write down all my favorite affirmations. Whenever I see new affirmations, I write it in that section. The second section is gratitude. So everything I'm grateful for. So I try to add something at least every week that I'm grateful for. And I'm very detailed. The next section is scripture, where I write down all my favorite scriptures. So for example, if I'm battling with faith, I write down a section with all scriptures dealing with faith. If strength, I write down all the scriptures for strength. I write down all the scriptures for parenting, just to be reminded of God's promise. Then there's the prayer section, where I write my prayer, because you can pray and ask God for anything. So always remember that. The last section is journaling. So I journal whatever. I try to do 1 journal entry a week. Sometimes I do it daily. It depends on what's on my heart and what I'm going through. But I created the prayer journal and I started using it every day. So at night I would read my affirmations to set my energy for the next day. So that would be the last positive thing I thought about before I went to bed. And then first thing in the morning, well, I write my to-do list and stuff, but the first thing in the morning I go back to my gratitude list and my affirmation list. So I read those while I'm meditating, or just stretching or whatever early in the morning. I usually wake up between 4 and 5 a.m. So I started doing that every day, and I started writing my prayers out, asking God, because you ask, you shall receive. So I never used to be like, oh, I never get anything, God never hears my prayers, because I didn't pray. I wasn't praying for nothing. I would never ask him for anything. So once I started asking him for confirmation and asking him for guidance and for what he want me to do, where he want me to go, what content he want me to talk to you guys about, I always ask God for putting a message on my heart. So when I journal in the morning, it's usually information that God is, I call it a download, where he's sending me everything he want me to tell you guys. Because I am a servant of God, he always give me the message. Or I've built whole coaching packages just sitting there in the space, hearing God, being quiet, being still, so that I can hear from him. No distractions. Sometimes sitting in the dark. But I sit still and I get whatever messages he's sending me. He send me messages in multiple ways. It could just be things I gut feeling, things he put on my heart, through my dreams a lot. So when I'm distracted and he can't get to me other ways, he will show up in my dreams and I get a clear message. But I started doing that, and about 2 weeks after I created my prayer journal, God told me to quit my job. My job was making me literally miserable. It was destroying my place of peace, I worked at home for almost 3 years. So when you work at home and you live there, it's like there's no peace because you hate your job, you don't want to go to work, but you're at home. So it's like you have no choice. So he told me to leave my job. It was very clear. I was at work and it felt like he paralyzed my body where I couldn't even do anything to work. I couldn't type, I couldn't do anything. And he's like, that's enough. I've been telling you to leave your job and lean on faith, but I was being disobedient. And I kept showing up to work and it kept getting worse. I started getting sick. I told you guys about my story. Like, I think it was December, I got diagnosed with anxiety, and then January diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. He was making me literally sick because I wasn't being obedient. So when I finally left my job, I had a clear bill of health. I was no longer sick, no longer had any of those symptoms. The anxiety was gone, everything. And it was so weird because as soon as I stopped my job, I was no longer sick. I still been since May 15th. I still haven't been sick, like no symptoms that I had of the diabetes or anything. So after I quit my job, then you guys, I know you remember I used to always post like, God is so amazing. I just kept going in my prayer journal every day, keeping God on the top of my brain every day. Then I would go, something tell me, my gut feeling, go check the mail. I check the mail, there's a check there from wherever, like something I was never expecting. But he would send me clients, he would send me money. I would get PayPal transactions, and it'll be like, I got a PayPal transaction, it was from a settlement. I didn't even know about the settlement, but I took the money. But I was just getting money out of nowhere. So I didn't have to worry about finances or anything. And that was with June. It was so many blessings coming from all over in financial blessings. Then in July, he said, give up your apartment and move back home with your mom. That one I was questioning, and I was just holding out like, God, are you sure? Because this is going to be a very humbling moment for me to go back home at 33 with a 10-year-old son. But I listened. I did it. It was the toughest thing I ever did. I cried literally every day for about 2 weeks because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what he's trying to do, but I'm just trying to believe God. And I started losing my faith because it was just so emotional because that was my place of peace. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm giving up my place of peace. What are you trying to do, God? So I started questioning my faith. Once I moved, I wasn't in my prayer journal. I stopped doing everything that I was doing before. Then all hell broke loose. 2 days after I moved, my son was at his dad's house. They had an incident where his dad punched him in the stomach, covered his mouth to try to muffle his cry, accidentally busted his nose, and he choked him. The old me would have almost tried to kill him. I swear, like, that was the camel that broke the camel back, that moment. When my son called me at 1:30 in the morning and tell me that his dad put his hands on him and choked him, busted his nose, and punched him in the stomach, co-parenting was over. And that's why at that time I wasn't going live, because I was not in a good space. I just picked my son up. I didn't do anything. I said, just have him ready when I get there, and I'm coming to get him. Pick my son up. He's very emotional. He's scared. It was hard for me to go live. I didn't coach anybody all the whole month of July because it was hard for me to go live and do videos and coach people on how to co-parent when I was ready to quit. I was ready to give up because I'm like, this, I never had to deal with physical abuse and stuff like that towards my kid. And everybody know my kid is my everything. And you have to protect your kid. For a whole couple of weeks, I couldn't even talk about it because I would break down and cry every time I talked about it. So I was like, okay, I have to be ready to talk to you guys about it, because it was a struggle for me. Even though we're still trying to work out co-parenting, I didn't give up, because the new me, I have faith that things happen for a reason, and God has been keeping me strong through this whole process. But it tested my business, everything, because I was ready to give up everything for my son, because I'm like, I give up. I'm not co-parenting anymore. I don't want to do this because of this incident. But I had to just pray on it. God was like, everything is going to work itself out. I had to have some conversations with his dad and come to him as an adult without anger. But I had to calm down for a few days before I talked to him. And I understood he was stressed out and he was going through stuff. But I'm like, you put your hands on my kid. And that's one thing. Like, the old me would have had all my brothers out here ready to get him. And my dad and my cousins. But the new Monique, I still have faith that we can work it out. It's been 6 weeks. My son haven't seen his dad, and he haven't been over there because he's not comfortable yet. So I'm still coaching him through the whole process, but it was very hard. So May left my job. June was an amazing month. July crashed and burned. So I was starting to lose faith. I was starting to question everything. I was starting to question God about everything. Like, why is this happening to me? You told me to do this. I'm following what you say do. And it was a point where I just had so much questions. The why? Even though I know that sometimes you are not going to get those questions answered. And especially with faith start where understanding ends. You're not going to understand why things happen. You just have to have faith in God that he is leading you through to the right place. So at that moment, I was very vulnerable, emotional. Like, I would cry like literally every day, because this was just 2 days after I moved out. I was already emotional about leaving my place. And then I'm like, okay, let me get a break to settle in, move my stuff out. So let my son go to his dad's house for a few days, and it lasts maybe 1 day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I already have enough on my plate. Now I have to deal with this. So I really wasn't in my place of peace, and I wasn't in a good headspace. So I backed off social media. I know some of you guys reached out to me, like, you guys, you're not going live. And then I wasn't posting. I didn't post for like 4 days. I went to California to get a break from reality and be with my family, which is my village. You guys know that's my village. They keep me sane. But I would not coach anybody during that time. I didn't take any clients in July, because I was like, I cannot pour into someone where I don't have. I was like, my cup was empty. It wasn't half full, it was empty. But I pretty much shut down, and I took a few weeks to refocus and resettle. Because I was in a season of frustration. I was angry at God, frustrated. And I had to go back to the basics. Like, what was working when I was in my place of peace? Because I was just really trying to find peace. And what worked was, I remembered that I had my prayer journal. And I was like, oh yeah, that's the one thing that's been missing over the last few weeks. I haven't been... I'm looking at my prayer journal. I haven't wrote a journal entry since the beginning of July. And I was like, it's time to go back to the basics. So those who are subscribed to my email list, you know that's my theme for this month, for August, is back to the basics. But I was just trying to make moves on my own without seeking God first. So everything I was doing wasn't working. And it was just causing me to be more frustrated and lose faith. Because I was like, God, you're not hearing me. And I wasn't hearing from God because I wasn't in that space to be able to be open to hear from him. And because I was frustrated. So I started watching my YouTube videos, because that's what I go to for inspiration. I used to do that every morning. Listen to my motivational videos, you do my prayer journal, meditate. But that whole routine was gone once I moved, because I was just like, everything was all over the place. I didn't have all my stuff with me. I had some stuff in storage, some stuff with me. But it was just like, okay, I had to sit and think. And I have my friends. I really, really, really appreciate my friend Amber Jones. I don't know if she's on here today, but She has been my praying friend. She would call me to check on me like, hey, are you okay? And my friend CA Anderson, I don't know if he's on here today, but they would call and check on me all the time. Amber would sit and pray with me. We meet up like once a week. You got to have those praying friends that see you struggling and they come to the rescue and they keep you motivated and they push you past your pain. But yeah, we would sit and, hey, thanks for tuning in. We would sit and pray like every week. Praying for each other, going through this transition in life, and it was like a big transformation. Yes, he definitely is amazing, but we must seek him before anything. So like God always say, like, seek his will in all that we do. We have to be obedient, because every time I wasn't obedient, that's when stuff started to crash and burn. That's when stuff started to happen. That's when I started doubting. And then I wasn't going to my page and my scriptures and my prayer journal whenever I battle with faith. I would go to all the faith scriptures. I wasn't doing that. So I had to remember that God's favor was already in me and that he still want me to be his server. So I had to start showing up for you guys and still doing what God called me to do, because that wasn't going anywhere. But this journey, I literally learned humility. It really humbled me, because I was in my place of peace when I had materialistic stuff, when I had a big, huge luxury apartment, when I had like just stuff, a job, when I was comfortable with having a guaranteed income. It's a different life when you're a full-time entrepreneur and you only can rely on God to send you these clients. You don't know where these clients or new clients are going to come from. You don't know how your bill's going to get paid. All that's very humbling. But I had to continue to be the servant. I had to remember that faith in God comes first. So I can't make moves on my own just because of desperation, or don't know where my next client is going to come from. So, like, I was to the point where I applied for jobs. I was like, I'm going back to work because God is not hearing me. I was super frustrated, angry. So like about 2 weeks ago, I applied for a job and I accepted an offer. I was supposed to start tomorrow, but I'm not going. I'm gonna let you know how God set this up for me. But I remember faith is having confidence in things that you hope for. So I was like, okay, I'm not asking God for anything. That's why nothing's happening. Let me pray and stop being so frustrated with God. You're a true witness of that. You never know where your clients will come from. Yeah, it's hard. People don't understand. They think, oh, I'm just going to be an entrepreneur. It ain't just the title. You literally don't have a guaranteed check or income. And when you're a single mom like me and you never get child support, I never had child support. I don't get no financial help. I have to raise my 10-year-old who's a growing boy in men's clothes. He wears a 10.5 men's shoe and a 34 men's jeans, men's medium. He's only 10. He's 5'5", and he like a grown man. I have to figure out how that's gonna happen. I can't depend on his dad because he's never gonna come through. He's so selfish. He worry about like, oh, I'm having a hard time financially, but I'm like, that don't mean you can't be a parent still, because I got to do it and be a parent at the same time. So y'all know me, I'm team no excuse. So I'd be like, I don't want to hear it. So I went back to my prayer journal I think that was last Saturday. I went back to my prayer journal and I started praying hard every single day. Amber prayed with me, I think it was Saturday, and we literally sat and prayed so much. And no child support, raised 4 girls by yourself, and sometimes we have to do that. We got to do what we got to do. But I had to start and end my day with my affirmations. I just went back to my routine yesterday. I sat and she prayed for me again yesterday. We sat on the phone and prayed. 2 days ago, I had a dream. Y'all know I'm a psych major. So I had a dream, and the dream was I was pregnant. And when you have a dream about pregnancy, it's usually a birth of a new start or new beginning. If you go through your whole dream, the whole pregnancy, and you give birth, it's the birth of something new. And I was just like, God, what's new coming? Like, what's going to be this birth of something new? But I got that answer today. Then last night, I prayed hard about, what do you want me to do about this job thing? Because I didn't, deep down inside in my gut feeling, I don't feel like he was telling me to go back to work. I was just acting out of desperation because not enough clients to pay bills and things like that. So I was just thinking about, oh, I have these bills due soon, coming up next week. What am I going to do? So I was like, I'm just going to get a job, work for a little while, then I'll go back to my business, being full-time at my business, because I felt like I can't afford to hire myself full-time for my business right now. So I need to go back part-time. But God was like, nope, that's not it. So I prayed last night, give me guidance, God. Tell me what you want me to do. I had a dream that I showed up to the new job and they said, oh, you withdrew your application. So that was a sign from God telling me you need to withdraw your application. So that's exactly what I did. A few days ago, no, I'm not gonna tell y'all that yet. So I was binge watching, what's his name? Mike Todd, the pastor of Transformation Church. So he had a series. The one I'm binge watching now is called Mark, but the other one was called Crazy Faith. So I binge watched the Crazy Faith series that he had a few weeks ago, and it just woke up something in me, and it really made me pray even more harder, go journal, things like that. And I started getting my faith again. When I watch his videos and I binge watch TD Jakes' sermons, I literally be in tears because God sent me the message directly through the video, because everything they've been talking about on these series was talking straight to me. You know how you had that feeling where you're like, oh my gosh, they're talking to me, because you could relate so hard on the word that they're preaching about. So that's what was happening to me. So I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting still, being focused, because my friend Amber was like, you need to sit still. You're all over the place. That's why you can't hear from God. So I started hearing from God through my dreams. He started answering my prayers. I learned to let go, let God, and just be comfortable with my reality right now. And I had to pray for what I wanted. So I had to be more specific. But he did definitely send me those answers. Mike Todd, he's on Instagram and he on YouTube. It's called Transformation Church. He's the lead pastor for Transformation Church. They are global. So all the sermons in the series are on his YouTube channel. So I literally binge watch and put it on autoplay and watch all the series. He have series on relationship, on everything. So amazing, so inspiring. And he's young. He's only 32. He's younger than me. He's young, but he can relate to us because he's in that era of our generation. But for a while I wasn't hearing from God, and now I'm hearing him very clear. And so the news that I have today, I know you guys all seen my comment, my post earlier where I was like, oh my gosh, God is so amazing. The news I have today, for years, I discovered my purpose of being a coach when I was in grad school back in 2016. I quit grad school to start my coaching business. So I've been coaching since then. I knew that was my purpose. I had got confirmation. I knew it was my purpose a long time ago, but I just wasn't sure and I was fighting it. But that confirmed it when I was in school for psychology, research psychology. But I took a break. It was supposed to be a few months break, and I wound up not going back, and it's been about 2 years, a little over 2 years now. So the other day I was praying, like, God, I always wanted to go back and finish my master's degree, and I prayed about it. I was searching for schools, and a school popped up, and I seen that they had a master's of science in psychology. So you guys, today I got my acceptance letter for grad school. So I'm going to be getting my master's in master's of science in psychology with the emphasis in life coaching. Who knew that they had a master's program specific for life coaching in the psychology field? That was God. That was God all the way. I literally cried when a guy called me and told me that I was accepted. If y'all ever apply for grad school, it is not an easy process. Most grad schools, you got to have all these references, write these essays, all that stuff. And the guy called me this morning, and I was just like jumping for joy. I wanted to cry because I'm like, for the last 2 years, I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to pay for school. I want to go back. I want to finish school. Now I get to finish school and tie it to my business. So I'm going to be basically focusing on small business life coaching, executive life coaching. So I could take my program to a corporate level. Spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, general life coaching, family coaching, all that. So this is going to be such an amazing journey. It's only like 3 semesters, because that's what I did last time. I did 1 semester. So I'll be finished by my birthday next year, by April. But this is such an amazing journey. And I get to focus on school and my business. So I don't have to worry about trying to figure stuff out on my own, because then I'm going to be trained on a whole nother level in the life coaching industry. So that was the announcement today. I got accepted into grad school, something I've been praying for a while, and it's just such an amazing feeling. I'm so excited. I start next week. So you guys will see some new stuff coming. The more I learn, the more I'll teach you guys, because at the end of the day, I'm still a servant of the Lord, and I know this is my purpose. And I know, hey coach, thanks for joining. And I know that we're going to be doing some amazing things coming soon. Thanks for being transparent. It's good hearing leaders have experienced the same problems. Yeah, especially that co-parenting situation, y'all. I swear I was ready to walk away from my business, say I'm not going to be a parent coach because I can't do this. But I do like to be transparent with you guys. Y'all know if I'm going through something, once I'm like over it and I'm not so emotional about it and I can actually talk without breaking down and crying, I do come to you guys and I be transparent. Co-parenting is not easy, but it's not impossible either. Thanks, cousin. It's not impossible. So I'm still working out the whole co-parenting situation. We're still in communication with his dad. We still talk. There's no hard feelings or anything. I don't want to kill him. That's how I know I am a different person, because the old me, it would have been the end. That's it. I'm going to jail. I'm signing over my rights to my kid, to my twin sister. That's it. But this time I was still at peace, like literally like an outer body experience. I didn't even know who I was because how I didn't react. I just said, I'm coming to get him. That's it. And I just talked to my son. He understand, like, your dad is stressed out, and that was just a reaction that he had. And it was only because him and his sister were arguing about who gonna wash the dishes. So I was like, why would he get in trouble and whoop for that? And I asked him, like, what's going on? He's like, oh, I whooped him. I said, no, it didn't sound like whooping, because the description that my son sent me, like, oh, my dad bust my nose, punched me in the stomach, and choked me and covered my mouth so nobody would hear me screaming at midnight. That don't sound like no whooping to me, because we have an agreement on how we would discipline him. So he knew if he would have told me the truth, I probably would have went off. But my son and his sister already told me. So I'm like, that don't sound like whooping, so I'm going to come get my son. He's like, no, he's good. I'm like, no, I'm coming to get him. And that's just how I reacted. And I didn't go in the house. My son was waiting for me outside. And I was like, okay, let's go. And then he just didn't come back. And I'm like, until you get whatever stress issues you're going through, I try to coach him, but he's not my client. So, but I'm like, whatever you get through that, then you call me when you're ready to spend time with your son and you can control yourself. So we're just taking a break right now from co-parenting. Even though I don't get a break, but I just spend more time with my son, make sure I spend like 3 hours a day. We go to mom and son lunch dates at least 4 days a week, and we go try to have fun, do homework together now that school's back in, so he's distracted from school. But I do have those deep conversations, like, how do you feel about the situation? And I coach him through it. Now he's over it, but he's still not ready to go back to his dad's house by himself. Like, he's like, you got to come with me. So we're working through that. So yeah, it's not easy. It's been good a little over a year, but this one incident is not going to destroy the whole process. But I did get some of you guys ordering your prayer journals. Here's how it looks. A few of you guys ordered them. They will be going out early in the morning. They are $20 if you want to order yours. And they will be shipped out tomorrow morning if you order them today. But this is a journaling part. And let me see. The prayer prayer section. And scriptures, I've been highlighting today my favorite scriptures. And gratitude, I wrote out a lot of gratitude messages. And the affirmation, and I wrote out a couple of affirmations. But yeah, this journal have literally saved me from quitting my business. This got my faith built back up, and I heavily rely on this. I take my prayer journal with me everywhere. Even when I go on vacation, when I go out of town, I have to get in my prayer journal and stay consistent. So this time around, I know God is not gonna be consistent with me if I'm not consistent with him. So I have to make sure I'm doing my part for him to do his. And he's proven that today, because everything I've been asking for the last 4 days, he's made quick reactions and gave me answers very quick. 2 of the answers I got in my dreams, and the other answers I got by phone call and confirmation, even through friends. My friends always have praying friends that's genuine, that keep you near the cross, because I done had sessions where I'm crying and everything. Hey, thanks, Coach, for joining. Where I'm like, you need somebody to be strong for you when you can't be strong. Like, you don't want to be strong anymore, and you just got to have your moment. Have those friends close to you at all times. So my friends have been there for me for these last 6 weeks, because it's been a struggle. But I'm getting to that, back to the old Monique. I feel like Coach Monique again, Coach Mo. So I will do the live that I was originally supposed to do. I'll do that probably tomorrow, about Brian McKnight family, where his situation is real crazy, where they're calling him a deadbeat dad, but he's definitely not one. But we'll talk about that mostly tomorrow, probably around the same time, 6 o'clock. But we will talk about that and his bratty kids. and I'm going to give you guys some tips on what you need to be teaching your kids before they turn 18. And I know a lot of people, it's controversial. They're like, oh, your kids don't need to, you don't need to kick your kids out at 18. It's not kicking them out, because most kids do go off to college, but they still need to have some life skills before they go. So I'm going to give you those tips within that same video, like the things you need to be teaching your kids before they leave the house, either for college or when they turn 18, whenever they decide to leave. Your kids will be ready to leave by 18 if you do it the right way. Like, people are surprised Sunday when I posted that my son cooked dinner, he washed dishes, and he did the laundry. He's 10 years old. He should know some things. If you're going to be using 1,000 dishes, you're gonna learn how to wash them. If you're gonna be changing 2-3 times a day, you're gonna learn how to wash clothes. He just only made chili cheese dogs. You only gotta boil the water for the hot dogs, and you just heat up the chili. So just simple things like that he should be able to do. Like, if he go off to college, he know how to make some chili cheese dogs for himself in the dorm room. He's not gonna live off of noodles. So there's certain things you should be teaching them at each age point. I think he started at 3. He used to love sweeping, and then he used to like vacuuming. Let them do it. They are ready. Sometimes you got to have patience. If they wash the dishes and it ain't clean, keep making them wash it over and over and over until it's clean. They'll learn. Don't step in and be like, oh, I'm just doing myself. That's what I talk about in my time management class when I tell you guys, you got to delegate some duties and be okay with other people doing stuff for you. And it's okay. It's okay to let somebody else do something. You don't have to do everything yourself. But if you want to order the prayer journal, the link is in the descriptions, and it will go out tomorrow morning around like 10. I think I'm gonna do the run at 10. But I have like 4 left, so the other ones won't come in till this weekend. Message me, or you can click on the link and go ahead and check out, so that I can have your shipping address and everything available. But that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't give up faith. Be consistent and keep pushing. Have your strong village and your support team. Y'all know I'm big on that. Make sure you are talking and getting support from the right people, that people ain't going to steer you in other directions, because I was literally at first I felt alone, and then I'm like, okay, I have friends. Let me call somebody. But I just had to get myself right first before I call and be breaking down, even though I still broke down, but it took a little while longer. But definitely keep the faith, keep pushing. Don't let circumstances break you. You are stronger than that. You know that you were anointed. God knew He anointed you before you were ready. But just stay the course, be that servant, do your part, and He will take care of the rest. If you take care of God's business, He will take care of yours. That's the simplest I can put it. But I thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll keep you guys updated on my my grad school journey. And I'll be teaching you stuff that I've learned, because I know there's a lot of coaches that follow me. So the stuff that I learned, I would definitely teach you, because some of you guys might not want to go get a master's degree in psychology with life coaching emphasis. So, but you might need some things that you want to learn, depending on what type of coaching you are, because with that degree, you tackle every different field of life coaching. So I would definitely be sharing some information with you guys. So I start next Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday is when I start, on the 5th. So I would definitely keep you guys. I will probably blog about my my journey through grad school, like I did before. I would share information when I was going to grad school for research psychology. But thank you guys for tuning in and being very supportive and engaging. Thank you guys for the ones who have purchased the prayer journal today already, this morning. I will get those out tomorrow morning, and hope you guys enjoy your day. I will see you guys tomorrow about the other topic, and good night. Thank you guys.